Hello, Derrick. Welcome to MetalKaoz in Chicago.
Glad to be here, my friend.
Absolutely. We have some exciting stuff to talk about, right?
We do. Comes to
Although
heavy metal, everything's exciting.
I have to admit that I was a little bit confused because I thought it was one album, but then I saw it was two. And then I saw that for the vinyl edition, it's two and the CD is one. So help me out. What's going on?
So what's going on is that we recorded a bunch of tunes, and we have so many tunes that we wanted to let them all come out at one time. So speaking with the record company, they're like, well, you can only put so much music on one vinyl. So I was like, well, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we, instead of just sticking them all into one thing, if we took some of the concepts off the second record as far as musically and did the artwork for that one as well. I like all the cool artwork, right? In heavy metal, you know how that goes, right? So I thought it would be cool to do. So that's what we ended up doing.
Oh, okay.
When you buy the CD, everything's on there, but the inside of the CD is pretty dressed real well, so you get a lot of extra stuff there. So on the vinyl, I wanted to give extra stuff for, since you're buying them, if you buy both vinyls to get all 16 songs, that's a pretty strong move. So I appreciate it. The band, thanks you a whole lot, I can tell you that.
So the CD, what cover artwork does it have?
Well, it has the let me see. Hey Vic,
Yes.
why don't you grab me the two vinyl records if you would.
That should be right over there by you.
No. Oh, you're right. You know what? I think so. Let me check this out real quick. Okay. So here we go.
Perfect.
So there's the right.
Mm-hmm.
There's the first vinyl.
Okay.
Right. You flip it over, it looks like that on the back. There we go. Get rid of that shine right there. See, so you got the four band members in the middle, and you got all the songs and all the information down here. When you get to the second vinyl, it looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it says Babylon America on it as well, because it's Paradox Volume 2. When you flip that over, it looks like that. Band in the middle, information down below, songs up top. So it turned out real cool. They did a simple sleeve on the inside, but then they actually did the pretty cool artwork on the in between the,
Nice.
all that good stuff too. So as a kid, man, that was what was so cool about heavy metal, was that everything had its own identity, where, a lot of the other music, you had a generic label on a lot of stuff, where later on in life, we went and bought Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden. It was dressed, right? It had everything possible could be on there. So kind of that's where we go with it the best we can.
So I still love the idea of how the vinyl is nowadays, with the different colors, everything. It's almost like back to the 80s and 90s, and that's that we love.
Yes.
So back to my another question, the CD, what version of the cover does it have? Volume
So the
one?
CD has this. This is what the CD looks like.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And then when you get inside of it, it has a bunch more stuff. I don't think I got one sitting around right now.
That's okay.
Yeah, but very cool. There's pictures of the band, a bunch of information, that kind of stuff. So.
And you said that you did the cover artworks for both?
Yeah, actually I did. Usually we let the label do that. This time, because of COVID downtime, when we were putting the record together, I was throwing ideas around. I thought, you know what? It'd be fun to actually do it our damn selves, and just make it exactly what we want it to be, with their approval, of course. So that's what we did.
So for volume 2, I understand the concept. Babylon America, Statue of Liberty, everything is like a wasteland. What about volume 1? Is this an angel that I see in the back?
So what you see when you look at it, you see basically gates that are open, a grim sky, and then you see basically the angel Michael, okay, holding a sword, but very distance driven with it. I didn't put it up front. I didn't want a bunch of people to misinterpret my motivation.
And that brings me to the next one. What is the connection between the two artworks and the lyrics, and especially how you split as you said, the songs into two basically volumes.
Right. So what we did was, because not every song was a conceptual song, but a lot of it was, we danced that out through the whole 15 tracks, because the last song is a cover of Man on the Silver Mountain by Rainbow. But we kind of sprinkled it through the record, the 15 songs, the theme, if you would, which draws the paradox from the first record to the second record, which is why it's called Paradox. And then throughout that, we kind of stuck what I consider to be traditional hard rock anthem tracks, if you would. Save Me, Love Amplified. Those songs aren't related to, World of Hate or King of the World or Babylon America. You get what I'm saying? So I like to be deep in lyrical, but I also like, to me, hard rock, heavy metal has always been fun. And so I still like to produce tunes that have very little importance when it comes to lyrics, but just you have a good time jamming on it.
You know what? Back in the day, this is how we understood the different styles, right? When we had hard rock or heavy metal, especially hard rock from the US, you had those easygoing lyrics. But then we had thrash, and thrash started voicing opinions, starting criticizing stuff, starting feeding back to the society. So I definitely understand what you're saying.
And if you look at the record, you kind of got that exact logic, because I've been doing this through the power metal age, through the thrash metal. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. A couple of years. So when you do it like that, and you've seen fads come and go, styles change. I was around when everybody was wearing blue jeans and t-shirts. Then everybody started wearing eyeliner and puffing their hair up, and then everybody started wearing flannel t-shirts, flannel shirts and with t-shirts on underneath it. So I've always kind of stuck with my own little niche the whole time. I've danced a little bit over here, a little bit over there in styles, but to me, the record Paradox has all of them elements over the years that we've played with as a band. Again, giving credit to my band, this record comes together because of Lee, Mike, and Rob. That's why this comes together this way, because without the three other band members, we don't have this record and this sound. And it was fun putting it together, because not every record can be done this way. We actually got to play together on some of it, opposed to just tracking music.
So there is a lot to unpack right now. First of all, you mentioned Rob, who is a new bassist, right?
Yes, not new bassist. No, Rob's been a bass player for 14 years now. You're talking about Lee. Lee would be the new guy on drums.
So Rob didn't join the band recently?
No. That would have been Lee.
For Lee, I do know that. I think I read somewhere that with a new bassist, but maybe it was an outdated press release.
I'm going to say that must have been an outdate, because Rob joined the band in like 2012.
My goodness.
So, but in all honesty, I've known Rob since 1983. So, you know what I mean? So, we tinkered back in the day together too, but he got in the band seriously in 2012.
So you met him when you were born, right?
Right.
Okay, there you go. Okay, then. So what about Lee? He joined the band, I hope I'm right on that, in 2021?
Yeah, that's about right. So basically, the drummer for 30 years had to have some surgeries done, and so he had some personal life stuff to deal with. And God bless him. And Tim's always been a great drummer and always been the drummer in the band. And so he had to leave. And blatant honesty, man, from my point of view, I was like, there's only one other drummer around the area that we can work with immediately that had the skill and technique to do what we were looking for, and that was Lee. And I gave him a call, and he was like, yeah, man, let's do it. He came over, checked out some of the tunes, and we dove in right away and started making some new music on top of it. Hence where the 16 songs came from, right? Because at first we had basically 11 songs. And I was like, that's good. That's a record. Let's roll. And then Lee showed up and we were started pounding out new stuff. And I was like, you know, we got enough material for 2 records, but do we want to wait or do we want to just do it and then we'll pick
Right.
up the ball and run again? So that's kind of what's going on.
So basically, half of the music was, well, half. It's not half. A great majority of the album was written before Lee joined the band. So what did or does Lee bring to the sound of Conquest?
Oh, so Lee brings a lot of energy, a lot of accuracy. Just he's a strong heavy metal thrash drummer. In other words, we can thrash if we want to, or he can get in that pocket and pull off the simple drums, but with the drive and the attention. To me, sometimes drummers when they fall back in the pocket on simple drum patterns, they lighten up a little bit. And Lee doesn't do that. He keeps the drive and the aggression in the pocket with the little flares and the flams on the kick drums. Really nice flavor. And then he's a blast to work with too. You know, jamming with 3 other guys, man. You know, you're together a lot. You're out on the stage. You're out doing the stuff. You got to get along. So that's very important too. And he's easy to get along with, and just all around good dude. So it works.
So how long did it take to write those 11 songs before Lee joined? And then what was the contribution of the entire band now? And even for the 11 songs, did you guys write things together? How do you do that? Because you mentioned something about this.
Yeah, so for the most part, I write the songs for the most part. But Mike is a great hook guy. He can write 2 or 3 hooks, you know, that go together. And so he'll bring in a hook. I'll go, okay, that's cool. And I'll put the guitar on and fill in the blanks, if you would, and make a song. You know what I mean? Make something, have some, you know, verse, chorus, bridge, you know, back to the different bridge, back over to, you know, that arrangements. That's what I do best. And then you put that down on tape, you know, record that, have some drums play with it, have him think about it a little bit, and then come back and apply what they do to it. And then have Rob come. Rob is a great, talking about bass playing, is a great melody guy. I mean, the melody is just going to flow out of him. So it's like, okay, you know, put a little bit of vocal on there just so you can know where the vocals are going to lay, so nobody overplays in a particular area or something like that. But then we go back and muster it all together, put the bun on it, and make it a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we do with it. A lot of the songs I initially bring in the concept or the original hook, that kind of thing. But Love Amplified, right? Mike brought in that very first hook in the beginning of that song. And we always tease and name stuff for the hell of it, and kind of fun. We go, oh man, it's like a Van Halen piece, you know what I mean? What you're doing on the front there. And so then we start tinkering with it, and we start looking for whatever the reason is mentally. We're not ripping anybody off. It's more of a flavor. So if you go to, like I use this analogy, if you went to the ice cream parlor, right? And you got all these different flavors of ice cream. They're all ice cream.
Correct.
But you might like raspberry mixed with chocolate. I might like vanilla with pecan, you know, but it's still all ice cream. So that's what we kind of do with the different songs, make it where it's still all Conquest heavy metal, but by Mike bringing in an occasional different hook, the flavor changes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and then,
it makes sense.
And then you take Celtic Mist. That happened with Rob. Rob brought in that bass player, that bass hook up front, and that whole feel. He even brought me the title, the name of the song, which gave me a direction to write lyrics to. Mm-hmm. So again, we had some ideas, but then we sat in the room in the studio and we all put on our instrument and we started playing it. And that's where that jam session at the end of it kind of tails out came from. It was like, you know what? Who cares if nobody does that kind of stuff anymore? We're doing it. So we just did it. And that's, you know, that's the fun part of writing music to me, is not putting any parameters on it. You just do what you do. And when you get done with it, be proud of it.
Well, things have changed a lot. And nowadays, if you are a thrash metal band, you have to play in a specific way. And if you for whatever the reason the band decides to change a little bit. Oh my goodness, it's bizarre. But anyways,
Yeah, but that's true what you're saying though. They start making you. They label you.
Mhm.
Then if you dance out of that label, oh, they've lost their touch.
Right.
You know, they're no longer this anymore. I mean, if people, I mean, for instance, one of my favorite thrash metal bands is Testament, right?
Mhm.
And if you listen to Testament today, and you listen to Testament on the New Order, basically the exact same band, more technology, a lot more brains, a lot more refined musicianship, basically the same music. But in between there, the amount of difference in tracks and songs those guys have written is astronomical. Falls into hard rock, falls into classic rock, a couple things, and I mean they're all over the place, right? But yet they're a thrash metal band, and that's what I like about bands that. And you can see the ones that survive. Metallica's an obvious one. Megadeth's another obvious one. These guys, they divert all the time, but they always find themselves back over here doing this one thing, you know?
Yeah, but in those bands, and I don't want to go there, but I think you have other people working with them. You have the producer, right, working with them and doing even some songwriting. It's not like Metallica writing music as a band nowadays.
Yeah, you're probably right. I could just tell you that I know people have speculated about how we've done things before, and they're so wrong that I just go, oh, okay, sure. I'm not going to argue with you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but I can tell when music's been contrived and put together. You know what I mean? Like when the producer went, "Oh, we're going to move this hunk over here, copy that, paste that over here." You can hear that. I can hear that. I tried real hard in producing this record to make it to where it was a natural ebb and flow. That's why we jammed live together a lot with it, because it allowed the music to be music and be natural without too much glitter, if you would.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's not talk about the big bands and how they are.
Deal.
After all, this is a world of hate, right?
That's what?
A world of hate.
Yes, world of hate.
It's exactly what we are talking about. You get people who don't even know you. They will write something. They will comment on the music. They saw themselves as they know everything, right?
Right.
And if you say anything that is a little bit doesn't agree with them, oh man, they will attack you.
And you know what? It's a shame because the world didn't used to be like that. You know, you're old enough to know that when the world wasn't quite so
connected.
Thing you could actually laugh at each other. You know, I mean, we all laughed at each other when we were kids. You had the chubby guys, you had the dudes that got all the girls, you had the jocks, I mean, it's just the way life was. It's called life, you know. So I try to write about that. I try to make people realize that there, you know, if you keep stepping backwards and there's a pile of dog shit right there, you are going to step in it every time. It's just the way it is. So don't do that. You know what I mean?
I know, but nowadays the world seems like walking backwards, and it's like, let's do the same mistakes we did some decades ago. So it's bizarre.
So hence why my lyrics, I try to be positive. You know, I try to say, look at all this nonsense that's going on. Come on, guys, let's get this figured out and get back together and get on track, because there's another generation that wants to play heavy metal too, right? And one after that too. But if we don't have a good society, they won't get to do that stuff. So
I agree. However, that song, World of Hate, I think lyrically connects with the writings on the wall, correct?
It does. Like I said, there's a theme throughout a fair portion of this record that ties them all together. Right down to the opening track of The Devil's Creed. That starts the thing off, you know. Walking Dead. We got a lot of dumb people just walking around blindly, following the people off the cliff, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's what I write about. And, you know, I used to care if people got mad at me. Now I don't care anymore. It's like, you know, hey, sorry, it's a positive message. Sorry, I'm pointing out things that's really going on. Sorry, don't get mad at me.
But whatever you say, there will be always people who will say the other thing or something different, something negative. So don't worry. You can never satisfy everyone. and you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't try to write music to satisfy everyone. About World of Hate, at the end, there is some dialogue there.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So I'm just kind of preaching. So at the time when I was writing that song, that was when the George Floyd stuff was happening up there. And I just seen all the burnings of the flags and the, and the spitting in the police face and all that stuff. And it makes me sick that, I was a rebel when I was a kid, but we didn't do stuff like that. We just didn't do stuff like that. It was a respect thing. So that little rant at the end there is reminding everybody that a lot of people died so we could be free. And a lot of societies have fallen so we can be free. And, like yesterday, the Normandy celebration, France was free on that day because, in that time frame, because a lot of people died. Yeah. So I try to keep it real. Then at the very end of that whole little thing, I'm talking to the engineer, right? And I'm like, hey, man, hey, Adam. And we always make a joke when we get done mixing a record, mixing a song, we'd say, hey, quit kicking that can, because it's just an old phrase, right? And I said, let's go get some pizza. Well, I didn't realize he had the talkback mic on, and it got picked up and recorded it, right? So I just went ahead and left it in there.
Okay. That was the guy who mixed the album, right? Adam Long?
Adam Long. He was the engineer.
Yep. Okay, got it. What about the cover, the Man of the Silver Mountain? And honestly, in my mind, I always say it's a Dio song, but it's a rainbow, right?
Right.
I don't know why we do that mentally. Yeah. We are doing that, but anyways.
Right. What made us do it?
Yeah, because you had Adam the Influence released in 2015, right? With the covers.
Yeah, we did that other release, and that was a cool record too. So we've been just over the last few records. Usually we pick something from one of our childhood or something that we want to just tinker with, see what it sounds like. And then during that time frame of them songs, we'll play that like as an end song at our shows or something, just to have a little fun. So my whole life, Dio and Rob Halford, these were my vocal people that I just, so Richie Blackmore, big influence on me on the guitar. So that song was always around back in the day, and my dad, it would be a song that my dad would dig. So it was just cool. So we put it on the record, and we did it, and I think it turned out pretty darn good. And so that's how I found itself there.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe you had that for Under the Influence, but for whatever the reason, you didn't do that back then and decided to add it here. But yeah, I guess it was a first pick.
Under the Influence, those songs were picked by us and the record company.
Okay.
So this one we just picked on our own. I'm a huge Dio fan, so you could always, if we put something out and there's a cover on it, there's a fair chance, 50-50, that it's a Rainbow, a Dio, like in a live application, we've covered Heaven and Hell before just for fun, you know what I mean? So kind of cool stuff.
The band has released 2 videos, music videos, Walking Dead and writings on the wall. There is footage at the back on the green screen. Who chose that footage?
Me and again, Adam, the engineer. Him and I work hand in hand and do all this. I'll come back, talk to the guys. We'll talk ideas and what have you, things like that. And then I'll go look and find available footage, what to label, what we can afford, if you would, right? And come up with it. And that's what we do. That's what we did on those 2 anyway.
Speaking about the context, the concept of those videos, at what point do you start writing lyrics? After the music is ready?
Sometimes it's completely like that. The whole song is done. Then I start chopping at different ideas. Sometimes it's a melody in my head with a lyric that starts the guitar work. Sometimes I'll write a small little piece and I'll put lyric over it, which will give me a vibe.
Mhm.
and make me think of what the rest of the song's going to feel like. Lots of different ways. Ironically enough, I kind of believe without being that guy, I was meant to write songs. At age of 13, I wrote a song called Conquest. And I didn't play guitars, I didn't do anything. I just came home high one day and wrote a song. And then my buddy got a drum kit, and I traded a hockey stick for a guitar. And next thing you know, I played guitar. And I didn't want to learn everybody else's stuff. For whatever the reason is, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do my own thing. So I was terrible for a long time. It was horrible because I wasn't very good, but I still was making my own noise. So golly, right? Mom was like, "Can you quit doing that?" But here we are today. So,
Oh yeah. For live shows, I saw that you have one show in July 12th with Burning Witches. Is this the only show, or are you working on adding shows?
There's a lot of shows coming up in the fall. They just haven't been posted yet.
Okay.
They haven't been listed up yet. Yeah, we were doing a couple one-offs during the summer. Summer's hard, at least where we're at in the Midwest. It's a hard sell unless you're outside somewhere. And we're not ready to tour on that. We wanted the record to get out. Again, we're not Metallica. We don't have all this money, so we have to feed through the weeds, like through you guys, to people learn about this stuff, spreading the word, and then you get out and you do some dates, and then there's some people there, so it helps enormously.
So the upcoming live shows, are those supporting opening for a band?
So in this region, we'll do both.
Okay.
Like if it's Burning Witches or a larger national, then would be the support act. I took the Burning Witches show. The club that does it, they called me all the time on, "Is this a good one? Should we take this?" Blah, 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 that kind of thing. But anyway, I said, "Yeah, take it, and we'll meet main support. It'll go good." So we did that. We play that room ourselves as a headliner, twice a year, like a twice a year type thing. You can only play in 50-mile radius like this around, 2 times that way, 2 times that way. Otherwise, you start wearing yourself thin. So kind of what we do right now. Every great once in a while, we'll get to go. If the economy ever gets, it's hard. I don't know if you see a lot of tours are cutting it short, only doing 12 and 15 dates, can't afford the gas and the fuel and go rent a hotel room right now. It's $300 a room for anything comfortable. It's retarded.
Yeah, and let's not forget, for bands outside the US, you have the visas. They have
Right.
ridiculously increased the price. So I have no idea, man, how fall will look, or even next year.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping politics get better here in America, and we start. I believe if it goes the right way, I believe it'll happen somewhat quick.
Okay.
With the fuel. If the fuel comes down, then everybody can travel. And if travel starts kicking up, then the economy gets stronger because there's more demand, and then we rule. Then we can go play. You know what I mean?
On that show with Burning Witches, will you have the vinyl record available for?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, everything will be available here on out. The shirts, the whole. I mean, we did a pre-sale thing where you got a shirt, a cool poster, our picks, stickers, all that stuff for a little package. That was cool stuff. So we have a fair amount of that stuff, and every show we'll have that out. And we like to give stuff away too. We're kind of stupid that way, I guess I'd say it, but that's okay because everybody likes it, right? And it's fun. So at this point in life, man, fun is part of the game.
Absolutely.
So we'll give stickers and that stuff away instead of trying to sell it. It's fun.
Derrick, thank you very much for your time. I don't know if Conquest will reach Chicago, but if you do.
Oh yeah. Probably I would say late fall, sometime early winter, we'll be up that way before the weather gets too stupid. We'll get up that direction. Probably Reggie's or somewhere like that.
Okay, perfect, man. See you then.
Sounds good, my friend. Thank you.
A great evening. Bye-bye.
Peace out. Thank you.